we all know that Congress or House of Representatives, President or whatever, trying to ban TikTok, talking about a national security threat. And that's fine. If they think it's a national security threat, do what you got to do. So I'm going to read this little thing I got from online, and then I'm going to compare it to something else. So it says many House legislators have argued that TikTok could allow China to access user data and influence Americans through the wildly popular social media platform and its algorithm. The White House and President Biden backs the proposed bill. The reasons are they're stating it's a national security threat related to the Chinese parent company called BYTE Dance. So we now, as a country, want to ban TikTok, right? I think it's something more behind that. I think just the fact that it's a Chinese-owned company, and we want a piece of it, to me. So I think it's interesting because no matter how much time is spent on these meetings and these hearings about banning TikTok, got something for you. In 2023, there were 28 mass shootings. 145 people died, 162 people injured. In 2024 alone, first 2.5 months in, we're at 8 mass shootings, 30 people dead, 50 people injured. So I ask you, how is it we can have these hearings about, well, it's a rhetorical question, but how is it we can have these hearings about TikTok and about Hunter Biden and about a laptop and about all of these things that may be somewhat of a threat, but it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not as much of a now threat as these mass shootings and all this other stuff. So why aren't we banning assault weapons? It's funny. Well, it's not funny, but it's interesting because, in a lot of states, you can be on your 18th birthday, you can go buy an AR-15 just by showing your driver's license. No background check may be needed, or any of that. So if you're going to have these weapons out on the street, how about it make it just assault weapons? I'm not even talking about handguns. Handguns, we can have that discussion as well. But if you're going to have these weapons out in the street, how about make it a little difficult for people to get them? You got to be 21 to drink, but you ain't got to be but 18 to buy AR-15. So which do you think is more dangerous right then and there? A 18-year-old having a beer or 18-year-old with an assault rifle? An 18-year-old taking a shot at tequila or an 18-year-old with an assault rifle? In some of the states where you are allowed to smoke weed, allowed to smoke marijuana, got to be 21 years old. But you can be, in some of those same states, you can be 18 years old and go buy an assault rifle. Make that make sense for me. To me, the government is concerned with some of the wrong things. The number one thing in my estimation that we should be concerned with is not allowing Trump nowhere near the White House ever again. That's the first thing. Off top. Dude already said he want to be a dictator. I don't care how many cases or how many counts or how many felony charges are taken away. We do know what he did. That's number one. Number two is yes. Number 2A is yes. You know, the national security situations. We always got to protect the country. And I think Trump is a major national security threat. So all of that goes hand in hand. The next one on that list should be protecting us domestically. And one way you can protect us domestically is to get them goddamn guns off the street or take the guns out of the hands of the people that shouldn't have it. You go through training, you do this, you do that. Okay, cool. That's one thing. I have firearms in my house. But in the meantime, in between time, I was 35 when I bought my guns. I wasn't 18. And it's never going to make sense to me. I'm never going to understand the dynamic that it's cool for people that's not even alive. These people haven't even grown up yet. 18 years old, 1 out of every 100 is mature enough to handle themselves as an 18-year-old child. You may be a grown-up when it comes to laws, but in my mind, you're still a kid. My youngest kids are 22, and they're kids to me. And they 22, doing well, doing their thing. They still kids. They haven't grown up. They haven't experienced life. They haven't done any of that. But yet still, when they were 18, they hadn't grown up and they hadn't experienced life. We was living in a state that if he wanted to, or if she wanted to, I have 22-year-old twins. If they wanted to, they can go buy a handgun, assault rifle, shotgun, whatever. And it just will never make sense to me. Where's the preservation of life? And then to make it worse, a lot of these mass shootings are where? In middle schools, in high schools, in elementary schools. Sandy Hook is one of them. You can go on and on. And then you got these idiots out here like Aaron Rodgers and others who are still spouting these conspiracy theories about these mass shootings in these schools. It just will never make sense. Let those people grieve. That was an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 12-year-old killed by an assault rifle that you cool with an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid having. And then once it happens, you want to act like the shit didn't happen. Yes, it happened. These numbers are real. These numbers are absolutely real. Absolutely real. And I don't know. I could be wrong. But I wonder if 30 people died this year as a result of TikTok. And I know there's cyberbullying, and unfortunately, people are taking their lives when they're bullied, and so on and so forth. And God bless them, and that's something that needs to stop. But we all in, quote unquote, on banning TikTok. But the use of assault rifles and guns and stuff by people who should not have them, it's a lot. Republicans don't want to, whoever. I'm going to say Republicans because that's what I believe. They don't want to pass background. They don't want to have a thing where you have to have background checks. No screening and nothing like that. And all that is part of their affiliation with the NRA. So what they're saying is the financial support they receive from the NRA is more important in our lives. You got bumbling idiots like Ted Cruz. I don't know how this dude keep his job. I don't know how Ted Cruz stays in office. To me, that's not a Republican thing or a Democratic thing. That's just a stupidity thing. I don't care what no one says. Find another Republican if you are a diehard Republican. But if you vote for Ted Cruz, you're how? You voting for him, and when y'all had that uh, freeze, he tried to bounce the Cabo, but you still vote for him because he put you in front of himself. This is the same dude who Trump obliterated. Talked about his wife, talked about his dad, everything. And when he lost the primary, what did he do? Hop right in Trump's, start hanging right from Trump's package. And y'all know what I'm talking about. How can you trust that? How can you trust that guy is going to put the lives of Texans over himself? And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Get out of office, homie. Just bounce. But it's a power trip. It's a power trip, and they love those donations they receive from the NRA and other places like that. So we got in the past 2 years, in the past year and 2.5 months, so 14 and a half months, there's been 35 mass shootings. 212 people have died. And when I turn on the news, or when I turn on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, what do I see? Hearings about Hunter Biden. Hearings about TikTok. I don't know what the hell Jim Jordan's. He's an idiot. He's a corrupt idiot, is what Jim Jordan is. And it's starting to get a little, what's the word I want? It's starting to get a little, for lack of a better word, it's starting to get a little frustrating. The fact that people don't see this. I'm not saying if you're stuck on Republican and you're a Republican and you're a diehard Republican, I'm not saying change your political party. I'm saying change the person that's representing your political party. You're not going to tell me that Texas is better off with your governor and Ted Cruz. You just can't tell me that. So if you have to be diehard Republican, find another governor. Find another senator. But you know what it is? Because he got supporter Donald Trump, and they like that base voting for them. So they don't want to go against that. So they just fall in line. So if you do you want a person representing you? Do you want a person representing their constituents? I love that word, constituents. Do you want a person representing their constituents when they don't even have the backbone to stand up to Donald Trump? They gonna just fall in line. That's what you want. That ain't what I want. That ain't what I want for this country. To say that the way they sweep these mass shootings and these school shootings under the rug, and both parties, what I'm gonna say right now, both parties try to make it as political as possible. Man, leave that political stuff alone. It's about the preservation of life, especially our young lives. We got a whole bunch of 8, 9, 12, 15 years old that won't be able to go to a prom, won't be able to get married, won't have kids so their parents can have grandkids, won't play high school and college sports, all because we can't come together and get and do proper gun laws in this country to preserve life. Guns are supposed to be to protect life, especially when they're used in a manner of, I'm not talking about hunting, and I'm not talking about, the military. But I got my guns in here. I have my firearms in here to protect my family. And Lord knows, if you try to come up in here, I'm going to fill your butt full of some hot stuff. Pause. But why can't we do better? Why is that not an issue? So here's what I'm going to do. There's a young lady running for U.S. Congress in my district down here in Georgia by the name of Karen Renee. I'm going to do my part because I've already asked and I volunteer on her campaign. I'm trying to get her on the Chronic OG's podcast as well. But I'm going to do my part. This has to end. Like our priorities, I don't know who's setting our priorities when it comes to the government and Congress. And it's not a Democratic problem. It is not a Republican problem. It is a governmental problem. But something has to be done. I'm hearing after hearing after hearing on TikTok, and we ain't saying nothing about gun restrictions and gun laws. We don't say nothing about it until another mass shooting happens. That's when we talk about it. So another 10, 12, 15 people got to die. Another 40, 50 people got to be injured. Then we'll talk about it for a couple weeks, and then it'll be gone again. Then somebody else will get shot in a nightclub. We'll talk about it for a little bit, and then it'll be gone again. But we're going to talk about TikTok until we get it banned, which we won't. That's what we're going to do. We keep having those hearings, those congressional hearings, spending all this damn money on these hearings, and it doesn't go anywhere. Half of Congress is up there stealing money because they don't do jack shit. Excuse my language. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then you got those that are there, Republican and Democrat, that are trying to get stuff done, but they can't get nothing done because what they believe is the right thing to do, and many of us believe that's the right thing to do, they can't do because they don't have the backing of that political party. And so when you go against, when you think differently of that political party for that particular issue, what they do is they try to ban you. It's crazy to me. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Liz Cheney got kicked out of Congress because she did the right thing. Adam Kinzinger, who's a Republican, who I'd vote for, and I'm a registered Democrat, got kicked out of Congress for doing the right thing. The other ones fell in line, so they still in Congress being puppets. The Speaker of the House ain't nothing but a puppet. All of this time, they talked about the border crisis. They come up with the most conservative border plan that has been issued. And now they don't want to do it because Trump said, hey, don't bring that to the floor because if I want it to be Biden's fault. I don't want that to be a success. So we're not going to bring this bill to the floor until after the election. So now everything they complained about with the border crisis is still happening. They won't do nothing about it. Nothing about it. And that's the problem I'm saying. So listen to this real fast. Where is it at? Man. So, the governor, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, just lit Congress up and the Speaker of the House up because he said, hey, we're giving y'all everything y'all want, but y'all want to approve this bill to have more border agents, more asylum agents. So you want it to keep happening and keep letting it happening, but then you're going to keep complaining that it's happening. But you're not going to do anything to stop it from happening because you want it to be Biden's fault. So your cult leader can have more of a basis to run. This is the dumbest shit ever. It's just stupid. That's what you call not even putting your party. You putting one man above everything that's right. When it comes to these guns and gun laws and restrictions and all this other stuff, you're putting one organization the NRA above everything that's right. That's never going to make sense to me. Never going to make sense to me. So I have a nephew that works. I can't tell y'all where, but he works for the government, like that. My nephew, Jalen Rozier, also known as Baby J. He hate when I call him that. I've been calling him that since I was holding him when he was 2 months old. Baby J. And as much as he doesn't want to, he should run for office. I'm going to tell you why. Not only is he a college graduate, well-spoken kid, spiritual. I mean, he's the type of son that everyone loves to have. I love my nephew to death. Shout out to Baby J. But I've been asking him to run for office. He's 31 years old now. I've been asking him to run for office for the past 5 years because he understands. It's not about Republicans, not about Democrats. It's about what's right. There's a lot of things that happen that Democrats does, and he's right there on the forefront. He knows exactly what's going on. He sees it. That he disagrees with. And there's a lot of things, I won't say a lot, but there's things that Republicans believe that he agrees with. He's a Democrat, but he's more of a moderate Democrat, which means he's closer to the middle. Those are the type of people we need in office. Young, energetic, people that care about what's going on in the communities more than what's going on in their political parties. So if any of you guys know my nephew, please try to get him to start running for political office. The only thing bad about him is that he's short as hell. Baby J, you should have known I was gonna get you, dude. You midget. I'm sorry. Please excuse that word, you little person. We have to understand that when we put our people first as a nation, that's when we are at our best. When we put one person first or a political party first, that's when things go nuts. And that's why we're in the position we are now. The Democrats are hard. These hard. If it's a Republican issue, right? It's not. We'll take that. A lot of it worse, but it ain't 99% the Republicans' fault and 1% the Democrats' fault. No. Democrats get more blame than that. But one of the biggest problems we have is the fact that you got that idiot in there as the Speaker of the House. He's a bumbling idiot. He's dumb as a bucket of shrimp. He's stupid in a box of rocks. And so y'all know, Trump is the Speaker of the House right now. Donald Trump is the Speaker of the House right now. The Speaker of the House right now is running for president. That's what's happening. And anybody want to tell you different? No way, no how. So I want to conclude by saying this. If you believe in what I'm saying in this episode, and you want to see change with this issue, do something. I'm going to do something. I'm starting off by volunteering for Karen Renee for U.S. Congress out of the state of Georgia. I'm going to support her. I'm looking forward to meeting her. I'm going to volunteer in her campaign. I don't care if they just have me putting out signs outside. I'm going to do it, and y'all going to see me doing it. If you think something needs to be changed, change it. Put your hat in the ring when it comes to helping to bring about change. I've talked about it, but I don't think I've done as good a job as I should have as being about it. I got to stop speaking about it and start being about it. And I think that's what we all have to do. We have to maintain a level of order within our own communities and stop relying on the government to do so. Because the government, there are people in the government that only care about themselves. And that's an overwhelming number. And we have to do a better job, especially in the Black community. Once again, please hit the like and subscribe buttons on our YouTube channel to continue to grow this platform and this podcast. We'll have two or three episodes dropping this weekend. I'm sure Rock, Smitty, and I'll be on camera this weekend. So I want to tell each one of you, thank you for listening to this episode of the Chronic OGs podcast. I'm that boy they call Big Tone. I'm out. Peace. Have a great weekend.